Hi everybody, and welcome back to our farm. After a long overdue month back in the UK, seeing family and friends for the first time in nearly 2 years, it's been a while since I've made a video, but now I'm back on the farm, I'm back to work, and in this week's video I am going to be tackling the fencing up around the main house. Join me as I make a few mistakes along the way, but learn a lot in the process. First things first, I need to clear the area where the fence is going to go. So there's all manner of things that need clearing from this fence line. We've got brambles, some vines, some old broom, general weeds, and last but not least, lots of old roof tiles. The roof tiles were here when we bought the farm, and they are old and they're knackered. I'm not sure where they've come from, but they are no good to be used on a roof. However, I've seen an interesting way to recycle them and reuse them for another project in the future, so I don't want to dispose of them, so it's simply a case of moving them from this location to somewhere else on the land. So I'm going to get my loppers, get a pair of gloves, and start clearing the area. Now that that space is cleared, I can start planning out where I want the posts to go. I apologise if you can hear a squealing water pump in the background. A few times a week we have to run the pump and circulate the water around in the tank just to make sure the water doesn't get stagnant and it stays clean. Today happens to be pumping day, so it's just going to have to happen in the background. But yeah, we ended up going for wooden fence posts in a couple of different sizes. The first size are these big chunky boys. They are about 12 centimeters in diameter, which I think is about 5 inches. We will primarily be using these concreted in the corners, and that will provide a real strong, solid base to tension the fence off of. Each post is 180 centimeters tall. Our fencing is 120 centimeters tall, so that leaves us with a third of the post, or 60 centimeters, to concrete in under the ground, and that should ensure that these are super strong and will not go anywhere. The next size we have, and this will be the majority of the posts, is a narrower post, still 180 centimeters tall, but these are about 8 centimeters in diameter, so roughly 3.5 inches. Again, 60 centimeters will be buried below the ground, but these won't be concreted in. I'll still be digging a hole for these, albeit a narrower hole, and as per the manufacturer's instructions, I will be filling that hole around the post with gravel. The manufacturer ensures me it will leave a really solid, strong post. The gravel will also allow for lots of drainage, and you won't have any sitting water around the post, and therefore you'll stop the post from rotting. So I was just about to start running the string line, and out of nowhere it started raining. Amazing. The country really needs it, the ground really needs it, and it's really encouraging because it's a sign that summer and the really critical fire period is coming to an end. It's literally getting heavier. I'm gonna have to duck out of this because I'm gonna get too wet otherwise. I'm not really bothered actually if it carries on. If it carries on, I'll either work in the rain or I'll leave it for today, but it's way more important that it's raining than me putting in some posts for some fencing. So long may it continue. I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes mulling over a decision about what to do with the corner posts. Basically, where this stake is where the corner posts are going to go. Like I said to you before, I've got those big chunky posts that I want to concrete into the ground to make them really strong. But with the type of fencing that we have, that type of fencing requires tensioning in order to keep it nice and tight and looking straight. What people normally do when you have that type of fencing is you would just drive your corner post into the ground without any concrete. You would then, at a distance, maybe 1 meter or 2 meters, depending on the size of your posts, drive in another wooden post into the ground. You'd put a horizontal brace between each of those posts, and then you would run a wire that goes from the bottom corner up to the top of this post, and from the bottom corner up to the corner of that post, and you would tension that wire to keep it really tight. And what that does is that stops the corner post being pulled in the direction of the tension on the fence. Because this is so close to our house, and this is effectively our house garden up in this area, I don't really want all of these things obstructing our view out from the terraces or out from the house to this part of the land. I just would like the one corner post. But I'm a little unsure as to whether just that post in the concrete can hold the tension from both that side and this side. I'm hoping that it will. I've really oversized these posts. You know, it's a big chunky post for what is only a 1.2 meter high fence. So I think I'm going to go with my original idea, concrete it in. If I see the post is starting to move in this direction or in this direction, I can always remove the fence and put an extra brace in here afterwards. So I think crack on with the first option and cross my fingers and hope it works out. We've got a break in the weather this weekend, so nothing but sunshine and cloud, which is great because I can get back on with the project and get it moving forward again. So I've run a few errands this morning, came back a few hours ago. The plan now is to get these posts in, get them leveled, and then get them concreted in. And I actually last week bought a new toy, which I'll show you. It's going to make concreting so much easier. Finally, I bought a cement mixer. Very happy with this purchase, and it's been long overdue, to be honest. The paddle mixer that I have is great, you know, especially if you're doing smaller batches. But I learned the hard way with the gates that if you need to do large amounts of concrete, doing it manually with the paddle mixer is just so time consuming. So I think this is going to be a well-used piece of kit here on the farm, and I'm looking forward to popping its cherry and using it shortly. So that's the last post in and concreted for today at least. I've still got another 4 to do on that side for the gate and 2 posts either side of it. But I'll save that for another day because we're expecting rain over the next few days, so that'll have to wait. But I still need to dig the holes as well, so plenty of things to be getting on with. I've just put some gravel and some water in the mixer just to get it cleaning out. I'm now going to go and give it a thorough clean and then go in and have some lunch for the day because I am absolutely exhausted and I could do with a good cup of tea. So when I got back from work last night, I managed to concrete in a couple more of these wooden posts, the ones that are behind me. But unfortunately, the amount of gravel that I've got has gotten so low that I didn't have enough left really to concrete in the 2 pedestrian gate posts, as well as having enough left over to fill in all the holes for the non-concreted posts. So the plan for today is that I think I'll have enough gravel to put gravel in the bottom of each hole, fill it with soil and then put gravel on the top. It's not the ideal thing I wanted to do. I wanted it all to be gravel so it had really good drainage and preserve the life of the wooden post. But the manufacturer still does say it's okay to have gravel, soil, gravel. So I'm going to do that, and fingers crossed I've got enough gravel to make it stretch and get them all in. So that's the first non-concreted post in. Seems to be holding pretty well. It seems pretty firm. I've tamped it all down, given it a bit of water. I'll keep doing that throughout the afternoon to try and make sure it settles and it all compacts in around the post. But yeah, 1 down, 6 more to go for today. That might be a tall order because I'm finding I'm hitting lots of granite. On reflection, I'm a bit regretful that I've put this so close to the terrace wall because it's causing me no end of problems with stones and it's making the job a lot longer than it needs to be. But I'm here now, that's the decision I made, and now I've got to ride it out and press on. So I'm gonna measure out and start digging the next one. So a little brief interlude from the project, but just wanted to show Poppy because Victoria cut her hair on her face because it was getting so long and it was getting all in her eyes. It's quite a difficult thing to do because you don't want to cut her whiskers, but look at her, it's adorable, don't you? Look at the camera. What's this, Poppy, what's this? What's this? There you go. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but she looks very cute, don't you? Good job, Victoria. Hey? Yeah. So luckily there was plenty of gravel left to finish the job and get both of these, nearly lost it, concreted in. I'm hoping it's going to stay dry. The forecast is for nothing but blue skies and cloud, but these dark clouds behind me are saying otherwise. So fingers crossed they just blow past and we stay dry. And yeah, I'll see you in a couple of days when the concrete will have gone off. I'll remove these posts and we'll get fixing the fence to all of the posts. So it's the moment of truth. Time to release the tension off of the ratchet straps and pray that the fence posts manage to hold it and keep it nice and tight. Great success. So I've hit a bit of a stumbling block. It's something that I did think about when I was planning it, and it's basically the fact that on this side by the terrace wall, the earth goes kind of flat at the top, down on a slope, and then kind of eases off on the slope a little bit on the bottom. And when I was planning this, I did think about how do I get the fence to navigate up and over that slope. One thing that I didn't think about was how will I tension it, because here I am trying to tension this whole length, and the problem that I'm having is that it's bending because it's hitting the crest of where that slope is coming to the top and going flat. So as you can see, I'm losing light quickly, so this is going to have to be knocked on the head for today. I'm going to have a little think about this tonight and try and come up with a solution. Maybe the solution is this post comes out and goes in concrete, and then I tension it in 2 different stages. But I'm going to go back to the drawing board tonight. Sadly, I really wanted to get this done this evening, and I'll come back tomorrow. Just before the light disappears completely, I just wanted to say, you know, I'm not an expert in this. I think that's probably evident to anybody watching. I am an enthusiastic DIYer, and one thing about when you want to do it yourself is that you are taking on lots of tasks that are new to you and that you haven't done before, or maybe you've got a little bit of experience but you come across problems that you've never experienced before. And this is where a tradesman, in this case a fencer, will have come across many problems like this and many more, and they can see that problem before it even happens, and they have a solution in place to work around it. You know, some people might argue, well, why don't you hire a tradesman? And, you know, many people who do DIY, the majority of the time it's because of financial limitations. In my case, it's a little bit of that, but it's also because I want to learn. You know, we have taken on a farm, and in the future, there'll be more fencing than he's doing, whether it's the entire property, whether it's areas for sheep or other animals. And I don't want to have to hire a tradesman every time. So unfortunately, sometimes you have to learn the hard way, make mistakes, rectify them. Things take longer, but you've learnt. And I think that's the key thing for me, is learning a new skill is one of the most important things to me in life. So I'm going to go now. You might not even be able to see me anymore. I can't see the screen. It's got very dark very quickly, but I'll see you tomorrow when I get back from work. So it's a new day and a quick update on what we plan to do with this issue with the fence on the slope. Victoria ran a rough string line from this top post to the bottom post, and we were weighing up whether we could just dig out the ground, knock a few posts down into the ground a bit further and make it one slope rather than a slope with a flat bit at the top. As you can see from this post here, we'd have to take it down by about 1 foot in certain areas, and that's excavating a lot of ground just for the sake of a slope. So we've decided that we're going to carry on with the posts in the position they are, with a slope and a flat bit at the top. What I'm going to do is raise the fence at the top here temporarily and try and tension it purely for the slope, fix it in place. Then once we've got it fixed in place there, I'm going to cut some of the fence to allow the fence to bend, and then I'm going to re-tension it straight and then try and clip the straight bit at the top. That's the plan. Maybe I'll come back in a couple of hours and we're having to try and find another solution, but I think for now that's the easiest option to try and get it done. So I am very nearly there with this first bit. The bottom of the fence is super tight. I mean, literally could not go any more taut if it tried, but I've noticed that the top is not quite as tight, and I've seen this section here. I think the problem is because when I first clipped the fence to the post so I could have something to tension from, I had to guess the lay of the land and the angle of the slope, and I think I've just got it slightly wrong. It's correct up until about 3/4 of the way up, and basically it's just the top clip is wrong. It should be angled more this way, which will pull this more taut and allow me to get it tight on the top as well as the bottom. I've had Poppy outside with me while I've been fencing this afternoon because Victoria's had to take Ted to the vet. But look at the state of this dog. She's like Velcro. She lies in anything and it sticks to her all over her face, all over her legs, everywhere. You end up spending about 20 minutes every time you take her in, picking everything out. Even a good brush doesn't do it, especially, where are they? These little things. You see them with their little spikes. They get so stuck in her. Anyway, good girl, Pop. Oh, you little Velcro dog. The exact thing that I was concerned about earlier on happening has happened. As soon as I've released the tension on this bit of fence, I've noticed that this post here is now leaning this way, and then it's also affected the tension on this shorter run here. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't feeling a bit defeated after it, but you know, I'm down but I'm not out. I think the solution now is going to have to be to remove this bit of fencing, straighten this corner post up, and then put in some extra posts here and here and go ahead with the bracing. So the bracing worked. Happy days. The only thing I'm not overly keen about is that you can see it looks a bit wonky, and that's basically because the wooden braces at the top, they were put level, as in completely horizontal, and then obviously the fence on both sides runs at a diagonal, so it makes it look a bit wonky. But you know, you can see here that this is basically straight, if you can see that. This side dropped a little bit and I'm not really sure why. It seems to have dropped on this end, so if there's any fences out there and you know why that end dropped ever so slightly, let me know in the comments. Overall, I'm really happy with how this fencing turned out. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I've learned from them, and that's going to be invaluable when I come to doing the larger amounts of fencing to fence the whole perimeter of the property. I'll know exactly what challenges I have in front of me, what to avoid, and I'll be so much more efficient doing that big job. There is still an area of fencing that I need to finish off, but I'm gonna hold off on that for now and do it in a few weeks' time because we're due a ton of rain over the next week or two. I'm gonna dash because it's raining now and it's getting much heavier, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.